thank you for your interest in ITS Telecom fax solutions. Today, we are going to be going over the web portal for the fax solution. And to begin, we're going to head to the URL login, which is fax.itstelecom.com. Here, you will enter your username and password, the username being the email that you signed up with, and the password being the one that you generated or had auto-generated for you by your admin. After this, hit continue and enter into the portal. Upon entering the portal, you will be taken into the send fax screen. This is the main screen where we will send outbound faxes from and put in our recipient numbers. To start, this is the recipient number section. You can add up to 10 recipient numbers. If you want to add more or fax out to more than 10, please contact your account manager and discuss the options of that. So next we'll send a fax here, and we'll take my fax number, plug it in there. I can add a recipient email if I want a recipient to receive an email notification about the fax. Just please note that if the recipient email is someone that is using ITS, they will not receive that notification email. It is only for external email notifications. Below this, I can add a cover page. These are our choices of pre-made cover page templates, which we will go over in just a little bit here. So I'll choose this icons one. And now these fields, delivered to, subject, notes, we can enter information here. So I'll put test, and we will see later that these pieces of information will load into our cover page. Below this is our tagging feature. This is very useful when we go later to view the history. If you want to search for a fax very fast, you can search it up by tag. In this case, we can create a tag right now, name it test, give it a color, and either make it public to everyone on the account or just private to us. We'll create that tag, and now you'll see the test tag is here. Below that, we can mark it as urgent. This will take place in the cover letter, custom cover letter. If there is a mark urgent token, you can click that and it will mark the fax as urgent for the recipient. Below here is where we will add our fax documents. So we can click here and I can find a test page here, upload that, and now it is uploaded into our fax processor here and ready to be sent off. These can be PDF, TIFF, a couple other different formats. If your document is not sending because it is in the wrong format, you can move up here right below send number or my fax number. Click this and drag and drop your file in here to convert it to either a PDF or TIFF format. And then you can convert and upload it into here to be sent off. Now, before we send it off, we can hit preview, make sure everything looks good. So here is our cover page that we selected. This is what it will look like. Here's the information and notes and the name of who it was sent to. Both are saying test. We didn't put anything in the subject field, but if we did, it would show up here. We can send later to have a scheduled fax send off at a later date, or we can send it now in real time, which we'll do. Hit send. Now we get this screen that shows our fax is processing, and we can go and hit check status. Check status will take us into the fax history page where we can see all of our faxes. Right now we are under outbound, but if we flipped it to all, we could see all outbound and inbound. In this case, we have an outbound fax that we just sent and an inbound fax that we just received because we sent it to our own fax number. Before you saw that they were transmitting, now that they have shown as successful, there will be this green check mark right here. If a fax does show as failed, it'll be a red X instead of the green check mark, in which then you can go to this three-dot menu right here and hit Info. This is very valuable for outbound failed faxes. Down here where it shows fax result and fax tone, it might say no or failed for both, and then it will give you a fax result code as an error, which then you can reach out to your account manager or administrator and let them know that that error was received and how you can go about fixing it. Another section of this three-dot menu is View/Print. So here we can view our fax that we just sent off in full, scroll down. We can also go up here and download the fax or print it in real time. The last thing we can do on this page is archive the fax, and we can either select archive here, or if we select the fax here by this blue checkbox, we can archive it. Now that fax is gone off the main history screen and is in the archive, what we'll have to do is go to this submenu, which we can also click this to expand it, and go to the archive below history. Now you'll see that this archived fax lives in this archive. We won't be able to view or download it from here, but if we click this, we can always restore a fax. And now when we go back to the history, the fax is restored in the history view and ready to be viewed or downloaded. Going back to this tag feature right here, if we ever need to, we can search up a fax by tag. If it's very far down, you don't want to spend a lot of time looking through your fax history, you can go to more filters, and then you can filter by the tag. Here we had test, and we can select that, and it'll pull up all the faxes with that tag. Next, we will go down to the cover page section. So here's where you can create your custom cover page. In my cover pages down here, we do have these pre-built out templates. Some of them are quite good. If you do want to create your own cover page, come down here and hit Create New, which you can also choose from our templates to get you started. So in this case, let's just select Standard. We can name it Test and hit Done. Now it'll take us into the cover page itself to edit it. Here we can add these tokens. Each one of these tokens is pulling data from somewhere within the ITS portal. So in this case, date and time, it'll pull the amount of pages of the fax. If you have a specific logo, or in this case, pulling from the ITS domain logo, as well as all these others, including recipient fax, sender fax, recipient company, name, etc. When creating the custom cover page after editing, you'll notice up here, it'll show that it was updated. This will actually auto-save your edit every single time, and you can hit preview just to make sure you know what it's going to look like when it's being sent off. To upload a list of contacts into the ITS portal, you'll go up here to the toolbox section at the top right, hit Contacts, and it'll take you into the contact page. Here we have two options. We can either import a contact by selecting Import and then uploading a CSV, which we have an example right here of how the column rows should be set up. And then you can bulk import a CSV up to 500 contacts per page per CSV file. Drag and drop them, select them here. And then after, you'll hit Next and be able to upload the information. We can also create one-off contacts directly in the web portal here, and we can do so by hitting Create, coming in here, and we can do Test, Contact, fill in other information like email or phone number if we need to be able to contact the recipient in other ways. And then we can enter in the fax number here, put in a fake fax number. Below, we can add them to an organization. If we have multiple contacts per one organization, we can bundle them together. So when we send, we can send to all of them if needed. And then below that, we can make the contact either visible by account to every user or only editable to the user that created it or the other users on the account if contacts wish to be shared. After this, hit create and the contact will be created and it'll show up in this field here. The final thing we'll go over is personal administrative tasks within the portal. So you'll go to these top right initials and select them, and then you can hit Manage My Profile. Here we can edit things like first and last name. Email is a big one. If you get a new email address or want to use a different one, you can change it here. You can put in your own phone number and job position if needed. And adjust the time zone accordingly. If the account time zone is different than your personal user time zone and it's throwing you off because in the history it's showing it as a different time, we can go and select a different time zone in here. The last part of this will be in the security tab at the top here, where we can go in and either set up two-factor authentication if we want to have more security on our login, or we can change our current password here. Finally, in the fax setting, we'll go over receiving notifications via email. So you'll click on this My Fax Settings all the way at the bottom of this fax drop-down menu on the left-hand side. And here we can see our caller ID, which is tied to our fax number, as well as our email notifications. So right now they are turned on. If we don't wish to receive notifications, we can hit none for both of these. If we do want to receive notifications, we can hit all, and we can even include if we receive the documents, the contents of the fax in the email that we're sending out or in the email that we receive inbound. So if someone sends you a fax inbound, you'll get an email notification in your inbox. When you open that, the contents of the document sent over to you will display at the bottom. Thank you guys again for your interest in ITS Telecom Fax Solutions. If you have any more questions, please reach out to your account manager or administrator, and they'd be more than happy to help. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.